Earlier this week, Americans all across the country paused to remember the 9/11 terror attacks and the thousands of innocent people who were killed. 12 years later now, the United States continues to take steps to prevent another similar attack against our country. Security in New York and across the United States has changed dramatically since 9/11. And here with more on the terror threat against the U.S. 12 years later after 9/11, we're joined by KTRK security specialist and former FBI agent Jim Conway. Jim, thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Kevin. Nice to be here.
Talk a little bit about what's different now. What's different today versus 2001?
Well, we've made a lot of changes. Here in the homeland, we're better at counterterrorism. We've raised our counterterrorism posture significantly. We collect intelligence better, we have newer laws, we have better technology, we work more seamlessly with our local police as well as our partners around the world. So we've gotten better, and fortunately the FBI and the intelligence community with our police partners have stopped somewhat in the number of 50 terrorist attempts against the homeland, against the United States. But on the other hand, things have gotten more complicated globally in the wake of the Arab Spring and so forth. And we've seen a lot of changes in the world, and we've seen terrorist groups growing and spawning in other parts of the world, exploiting and taking advantage of destabilizations in governments throughout North Africa, the Middle East, and even Southeast Asia and South America, just to our south.
How good of a job would you say our government is doing in identifying those terror cells, both internationally and domestically?
Well, there's a balance here. We are a country of laws, and the FBI, the intelligence services, and the police have to abide by the law. But I think we're doing a good job. I mean, this is a hard target. I think one of the things that complicates things so much is we have such an open door, as exemplified by the Boston bombings in recent months at the Boston Marathon. Is we have an open door, and just about anybody can come in and out of this country on a student visa and overstay or whatever. So it's a hard target, and we have to abide by the laws. And we try to track and identify and penetrate and ultimately neutralize radical activity or dangerous activity inside the United States. But with full respect for the First Amendment and freedom of religion and freedom of speech, it's a balancing act. So it's a very, very hard target for police and intelligence services.
I think important for folks who are listening right now to know that you're not just some guy off the street. You actually led the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force team
for a few years.
Point, right?
Yes, I did, and then I was stationed overseas also.
And so, with that history, with that background, how safe do you feel?
Well, I think we're relatively safe. I mean, obviously, we're safer than we were, but nonetheless, you know, when I look at the numbers and I look at the statistics, and I know that over 150,000 individuals who come from countries that foment terrorism have been identified and captured by immigration authorities in this country and have been deported, but yet they have not left this country and they remain on U.S. soil. That poses a threat to us, and that poses a real concern for me.
And the emergence of the internet and everything that's out there on the World Wide Web now, that's really complicated now.
That's it. You know, 10, 15 years ago, we were able to track individuals because they had to travel. They had to get on airplanes. They had to collect bombs. They had to collect false documents. They had to move around the world. They had to buy airline tickets. Today, radicalization and jihadi inspiration has moved to the internet. It's in cyberspace. And again, going back to the Boston bombings, classic example of individuals operating in the United States but being inspired and being directed by individuals through cyberspace. The use of pressure cookers, which is prevalent throughout in South Asia, throughout Pakistan, Afghanistan. Here's a couple of individuals that were given directions and shown how to utilize those and create terror at a major event like the Boston Marathon.
All right, Jim, we're going to have to end it there. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you coming in this morning. For developments in the safety of the United States, you can download the ABC 13 News app. It is free and available for both Android and Apple smartphones.